Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now, I want to talk about SUI today because we're seeing some actually pretty great information coming out of the SUI camp with some good news there. Also, I want to talk a little bit about what price has done recently, because what we're seeing right now is actually what happened, or almost exactly what happened last time. So I want to talk about, kind of what that means, how that would look, and also, obviously, most importantly, how we could profit off of that. Now, obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. This is just kind of my opinions and kind of some things that I'm seeing within the market, trying to draw some patterns, stuff like that. But let's go on ahead, dive right in, and let's check out what we're looking at. So first off, what we can see overall is pretty green day overall in the market. We can actually see, though, that SUI has pulled back. So, I mean, obviously, several moving pretty well. XLM, XRP, and ADA are kind of the ones that are kind of taking up most of the attention right now. Those have been moving pretty decently. Obviously, ICP up quite nicely as well, doing really well. SUI, though, kind of pulling back a little bit. We're going to look at the chart here in a second to kind of get a little bit more context on this. But overall, I don't think this is too big of a deal. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback, but we've seen this before, right? And so that's what I want to talk about and essentially take a look at, like, is this a problem, or is this potentially just a repeat of what we've seen in the past? So we'll get there in a second, but before we do that, I want to show you some breaking news that we're seeing. This was posted just a couple hours ago, and we're seeing that SUI just partnered with Franklin Templeton. Now, Franklin Templeton has almost $2 trillion of assets under management. And if you're not familiar with Franklin Templeton, they've been, I would say, very, on the leading edge of crypto for years now. I mean, they've been super forward-looking, super forward-thinking. They've always had kind of like a team somewhat dedicated to crypto and digital assets specifically. So they've had a lot of like really positive impact within the crypto space. So this to me is like a fantastic partnership. This is not something like, partnering with Vanguard or whatever that's historically been super hostile and not friendly at all to crypto. Like they're in with essentially one of the most friendly Wall Street firms that there are. So this is really, really good news to see, and massively bullish for SUI, obviously. And so, that's great news. Now, what we can see, though, which is a bit of an interesting sentiment that we've seen so far, though, is we haven't really seen that reflect in the price. So if we zoom in here, we can see a couple of different things happening. So first off, I want to kind of draw the comparison between kind of this run and last run. We'll zoom out and see that for a second. But before we did that, I want to show kind of some like key levels of support and resistance that I'm seeing. We can see kind of here, at least so far, it seems in this current pullback that we have kind of started to settle on this level of support here. Prior to this was this like $2.38 range. This was a point of resistance. We could see it got rejected here at previous all-time highs. We came right back up again, testing new all-time highs. Had a little bit of some struggles here, and then obviously boom, moved out and moved up quite nicely. We can also see here, this was previous all-time high testing territory, as well as levels of support kind of coming back down. We did see a couple, momentary wicks through it, but overall this support held pretty well. Now, the thing I want to take a look at is kind of comparing this time to last time that we saw a pullback before the next kind of major leg up, because we can see from bottom to top here, this is over 2x. So definitely a very substantial move. And we can see that from top to bottom, it pulled back almost 33%. Now, so far, we've only seen about a 15% pullback, so about half of what we saw previously. If we were to see a 30% pullback, we'd be seeing kind of somewhere maybe in this range. Now, given the fact that there is no kind of like levels of support or resistance in here, I almost think we'd probably be coming down to this range, which would be closer to a 40% pullback. So again, kind of where we're at right now, it's hard to say for sure. I think kind of where we're at is we probably need to see this level of support hold. If we don't, we're probably going to be coming back down to this $2.40 range. Obviously, kind of about $1 between them. So unless maybe we see some sort of support at this level at like the $3 range, or maybe even like $2.85. Hard to say, but with no real supports here, it's hard to say exactly how far, if we don't come all the way back to like the $2.40 range, how far back we will see SUI retrace. We could use kind of this previous retracement as a guide, and we could see obviously somewhere kind of in this range is where we would sit. But overall, hopefully you can see, like, regardless of this momentary pullback, things are still looking really, really good. Volume is continuing to stay really high and even potentially rise. We are seeing RSI recover on this pullback. So, obviously RSI is weakening as price is weakening, which is fine. But, we are kind of pulling back into the strong territory, and we might even see it get into like the neutral territory before we see a continued move up. But overall, nothing really too concerning looking here. If we look previously, though, what we can see is this is always like good to see, right? I mean, we see massive move up, a little bit of a pullback, another massive move up. I would say, you know, maybe even a little bit more of a pullback could be a good thing. But overall, like, having these little cooling off periods is very, very healthy for the chart overall. This is something that, in my opinion, I think is really good to see. So, and we can see, like, it's not the end of the world, right? I mean, we saw this happen here right after we hit new all-time highs, and then we kept going right on up. So I do think that this is a really nice kind of cooling off period. If you have been looking to get into SUI, again, not financial advice, this is just kind of my opinion, but if you have been looking to get into SUI, obviously, you know, this is a better time to buy right now than what it would have been, you know, up here pushing new all-time highs. We don't know. This may continue to fall back, and we may see even better times to buy. Hard to say for sure so far, but at least right now, like, we're getting into a better position where, like, if you're looking for maximum risk reward, SUI's starting to look a lot better here. I'm probably, once we start to see this potentially bottom out, I might start taking like a low leverage long on SUI, just because I still do believe in like the long-term prospects of SUI within this bull run particularly. I think it's going to do really, really well. And so if I can play that on leverage, obviously, you know, why wouldn't I? So that's something that I'm probably going to be doing. If you are interested in doing something similar, I do have a link to BTCC. You can see for this month I am working with BTCC, and they've come up with a really, really nice deal, which is a 10% bonus on first time deposits, which obviously super great deal. So if you put in, let's say $10,000, for example, they would essentially just give you $1,000 to trade with, which I think is awesome. Really, really great deal. This is also in addition to the $10,055 like just normal bonuses that you get for signing up. So this is all in addition, which I think is really cool. In addition to that, though, you can see 300 plus crypto trading pairs, up to 500x leverage, and no VPN or KYC necessary. So overall, really, really good deal here. I would say definitely, like, if you're looking for a place to trade, particularly if you're looking to like leverage trade, or frankly any type of trading for that matter, BTCC is a really good place to do that. Going back here, I will show you, I do tend to show this in most of my videos just because I do think it is pretty cool. They also do have tokenized stocks and commodities. So if you are looking to kind of play more in like the traditional finance world, but you want to use crypto for whatever reason, you can totally do that here. They also let you trade these up to 20x leverage, which I do think is kind of funny. So if that is something like, you know, you're wanting to play MicroStrategy has been hot lately, Coinbase, another one, you know, if you're wanting to play any of those, BTCC is another great place to do that. So moving on, I want to check one more thing of news here, and it's essentially like a SUI chart showing the net inflows. And what we can see is SUI is just absolutely crushing it. Tons and tons and tons of net inflows, dwarfing the next highest, which is Arbitrum, which is a little bit surprising to me because I would have figured Solana was probably kind of the second, maybe Bitcoin third. But Arbitrum obviously doing relatively well. But I mean, nothing compares to SUI. I mean, you probably put all of these together, like combine them, and we're still probably not seeing what SUI is seeing. So obviously to the downside, we can see, you know, Ethereum chains not doing particularly well. We've got, you know, Polygon POS, we've got Base, and then obviously Ethereum main chain. Ethereum main chain is kind of, I think, bleeding a lot of liquidity to kind of the like L2s. We could see OP mainnet, Arbitrum kind of being the two big ones. Base recently has kind of been the big one, but it looks like we are seeing some outflows off of Base as well, which a little bit interesting to see. I'm not sure that I would have necessarily expected that. So, but overall, you know, moral to the story, SUI really killing it in terms of net inflows. Things looking really, really good there. Overall, I think it's a great time to be a SUI holder, irrespective of the fact that we are seeing a little bit of a pullback. If you ask me, probably just a little bit of a gift to buy some discounted SUI before what I would expect the next kind of inevitable move to the upside would be. One thing I do want to say, just to be very clear and to kind of prepare you guys for the fact that, you know, SUI does have a very, very low circulating supply with much to come still. So I do think, I say this all the time, I'll probably continue saying it, and several of you likely will not listen to me or believe me, but it is my very strong opinion that SUI should not be held past this bull market, because we've seen this before. We've seen it with Solana, we've seen it with AVAX, we've seen it with, I don't know, basically all of them, Cardano, ICP, BNB, like all of it. When they come into the bear market, obviously there's natural selling pressure and things go down massively. But these VC chains that also have kind of the baked in selling pressure of token unlocks, it's like devastating for the chart. So I do still, like, I'm still massively bullish on what SUI can do this bull run, and I'm massively bullish on what we'll see. I mean, we might see 3, 4, 5, 6 plus X from here, but when we get to kind of where things start to look a little bit frothy, I'm definitely going to be taking profits, just because even if I don't time like the maximum top, I don't really care. Like, it's important to me that to not hold through the bear market, because I've been there, done that, and it is not worth it. Let me just tell you that. So anyway, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, please do give me a like and subscribe. It really, really does help me out. Also, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, just feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of them. So if you have anything you want me to see, that'd be a great way to do it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.